Mike. Nothing has enraptured the game series that is Deltarune like the mystery that Mike is. Ever since Chapter 2, we've been wondering who they are and what their relationship to Spamton was. Further teased in the Spamton Sweepstakes ARG, Mike was now a community sensation. He was a living microphone. No, he was a cat. No, he was Woody from Toy Story. Yeah, believe it or not, that last one does have some merit to it. Then, Chapter 3 and 4 came out, and we still have no damn clue who Mike is. Today, I'm going to be talking about Mike and the various theories around him, and who knows, I may even have a couple answers as to who this guy really is. What we knew going into Chapters 3 and 4 is a lot. It mostly comes from Spamton, especially from the Sweepstakes ARG. To start, we have Spamton in his shop in Chapter 2. At various points, his eyes go static. Some have theorized that these are remnants of a shattered personality. And at one point, when he's speaking to Chris about how they don't need anyone else, he says, quote, "We don't need Mike." And then, Mike, ... trailing off. Immediately following that, he says, "Chris, don't believe anything you see on TV. The man's a criminal, I tell you, a criminal." Initially, this led people to believe that Mike was the name of the TV character teased at Chapter 2's end and in the Sweepstakes ARG. Of course, we now know that this is Tenna. So what does this line mean? Well, we know that Spamton reminisces about Mike and memories of him bring him back to Tenna and whatever conflict they had. More on that at a later time. In addition, when you fight Spamton, if you choose to defeat him through violence, right before he explodes, he turns to the screen and asks Mike if he's getting all this. This tells us one of two things. Spamton either believes Mike can see him, which means that either Mike is omnipresent in the Dark Worlds, or that Spamton is further hallucinating. He does imagine a fake audience in this fight after all. Then, we had the Sweepstakes teasers. If you go through a series of web links from the Spamton Sweepstakes website, you end up at a screen with an image of a TV with a red X through it. Below it is the following text, which is heavily implied to be spoken by Spamton. Quote, "That damn boob tube. You're the one that should be having a refreshing night's sleep in the recycling bin. Everything is his. Everything is his fault. Pay. Everyone is going to pay 5 easy payments of $9.99 until they're all in the disposal area begging for my $, pound, $@, $. Everyone except Mike." So what does this tell us? Well, once again, Spamton's erupting hatred of Tenna, but this gives us future evidence that he reminisces over Mike, and he doesn't feel bad towards him. This is especially powerful as we later learn that Mike is Tenna's head lackey. It's complicated. We'll get to it. Most people ended up believing that Mike was a living microphone creature. As all other Darkners are manifestations of objects, why wouldn't he be the manifestation of a microphone? It would certainly fit with the theme. While most people believed that we would see Mike in future chapters, some believed we had already seen him. When exploring Queen's basement for the Spamton side quest, for a second, a face pops up on the left. It has one pink eye and one yellow, and it is smiling in a Cheshire grin. The eye coloring linked it to Spamton, so a lot of people made the presumption that this was Mike, and that Mike was a cat, as the reference to the Cheshire cat implies. Now, if you thought all that was a little bit insane, just you wait. You haven't seen anything yet. Whew. This face image is called image.friend. Ordinarily, this wouldn't really mean too much, if not for a certain Tumblr post by Toby Fox. One day, Toby decided to post a remix of the Toy Story song "You've Got a Friend in Me," titled "Friend Inside Me." The remix is eerie, and the words have been changed to fit the title. Throughout the song, ominous grayscale images of Woody, the main character of Toy Story, appear and disappear on the screen. The liberal use of the word friend made people think of image.friend. And although it sounds crazy, it does have some merit. A major point of Deltarune is that we are controlling Chris, and in the weird route, we use Chris and Noelle as tools. Or, as some might say, toys, which relates to the theme of Toy Story and how toys in that universe exist to make kids happy. Perhaps, like some How Darkners believe they exist to make Lightners happy. And finally, people believe that the friend inside me could relate to the soul as another sentient entity inside Chris. Combine all this with images of Cowboy Chris and Susie from one of the Spampton Sweepstakes teasers, and a very dedicated set of fans started to believe that Mike was a cowboy, potentially even Woody. What we found out in Chapter 3 of Deltarune was that Tenna was Mike's assistant, although never actually seen on screen. He repeatedly helps Tenna keep his show in order, setting out transitions, cutting to the boards, and most on theme, audio. In one of the secret minigames, we learned that after Spampton left the TV world, Mike started acting differently, reiterating that the two of them were close. Later, when Tenna forces the fun game to take part in his Doom board, Mike is once again in control of the show and the board. But he's clearly against it and doesn't do what Tenna commands multiple times. Later, when everybody abandons Tenna, the last to go is Mike, which Tenna is particularly distraught about. Quote, "What, Mike? You're leaving too?" "No, Mike, no. Anyone but you." This implies that Mike is one of Tenna's closest friends, and can't bear to see him go. Alright, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Chapter 4. Throughout the majority of Chapter 4, there is almost no mention of Mike, and you wouldn't expect it. But at the end, you can find the secret code to Mike's room and go back before the boss fight if this is your second playthrough. There, you get teleported to the castle town, where you can enter in the code to Mike's room. When we walk into Mike's room, we can interact with a mouse to grab things, including petting cat statues and putting hats on Chris and the gang. Then we encounter Short Mike, who attempts to drive us out, a humanoid microphone talking to us and using the new volume mechanic only available in this room. Then, when he takes too much damage, he walks away and comes back looking like a cat with pink and yellow eyes, with microphones as hands and feet. He claims that he changed his outfit because he felt like it, but something is off. The text boxes. They're coming from off-screen, rather than from the character in front of us. Then he swaps out once more, to a taller figure in a cowboy hat. He completely breaks the illusion, though, as he messes up what he's meant to say and asks off-screen for guidance. After this, all three mics walk on, and Short Mike reveals that there's more than one. Then, after the cat and cowboy might get tired, they begin to use attacks that are awfully similar to the Zapper and Shadow guy from Chapter 3. Short Mike then gets upset and reprimands the others for using their, quote, regular attacks. At which point, the mics take off their costumes, revealing themselves to be a Green Pippins, Zapper, and a Shadow guy. The Pippins explains as best as he can. Whenever Tenna asks for Mike to do something, whether he'd do it himself or it would just happen, and no other resident of TV World knew who Mike was or who was doing these things. Occasionally, Tenna would ask something of Mike, but then nothing would happen, leading to Tenna's anger, which he took out on his staff. So the three of them took turns pretending to be Mike, and Tenna doesn't notice a thing. They've been living in Mike's room for a while. The Green Pippins asks us if we know who Mike is, because none of them have a clue. Quote, "So who is Mike? Who is he? Is he just Tenna's imaginary friend? Is he Tenna's alter ego, like some alternate personality or something? And why the hell does he get so much love and attention?" He even breaks out a board with pictures and red tape. The problem with Mike's room is that it's kind of a joke. it mocks the fanbase's obsession with Mike, having a human microphone mic, a cat mic, and a cowboy mic, even pointing out in the battle text that, quote, Mike is definitely a cat, or Mike is definitely a cowboy. Except there is one more thing in Mike's room. If you walk all the way to the right, after a couple seconds, a giant image of a realistic microphone appears. Some have reasoned that this is the real Mike. When you re-enter Mike's room after this, the 3 fake mics have a series of mini-games for you to face. They believe that the real Mike of the 3 of them would be the strongest. Then, while the cowboy and cat Mike have the cat swing song as their battle theme, short Mike has a song called Airwaves. Ordinarily, this wouldn't mean too much, except that this song has the freedom leitmotif. What? This is a complete curveball. Up to this point, only 3 characters have had the freedom leitmotif, and they are all shadow bosses. And now a fake Mike just casually has it in his theme. To be completely honest, when writing this script, I slipped into a bit of madness when I saw the stuff about the freedom leitmotif and the shadow crystals. I can truly understand why the fanbase is so obsessed. There's so much we know and so little that we can reason. How much of Tenna's boards are the fake mics and how much is the real mic? How come Cat Mike doesn't talk? And if so, why can't Tenna notice the difference between the fake mics? If the real mic is gone, then how do the fake mics have the power of volume? Why do any of them besides the Zapper have volume powers anyway? Is Mike even real? Why would a microphone be in Chris's living room? If you take nothing else from this video, I hope you understand the sheer madness of this theory and the pain that it caused me while I'm writing it. So here are the theories that I currently believe have merit with our current information. Number 1, Mike is imaged up friend, and he left to follow Spamton into the cyber world. This is why Spamton addresses him and why we can't see him. After he left, the fake Mikes took over entirely, but Mike's story isn't over yet, and we may see more of him, especially given the imaged out friends that appear in the Chapter 3 secret minigames. Number 2, Mike is the giant microphone, and ironically, he can't speak. He's always there, and has been since the start. He allows the fake mics to do what they do because he finds it funny, and Tenna is playing along. Number 3, Mike has never existed, and Toby is playing a cruel joke on us. Knowing Toby Fox, this is entirely possible. The only thing that takes away from it is that the Green Pip acknowledges this possibility, asking if that's the case, where'd the idea of Mike even come from? It wouldn't be beyond Toby, but I feel like this is the least reliable. I feel like something's coming with Mike. Number 4, the most bold of the theories, Mike is W.D. Gaster's alias. Think about the imaged up friend. He watches, then fades back into shadow. Seems pretty similar to Gaster's activities. What else do we know about Mike? Well, he may be omnipresent, he helps Tenna with almost godlike powers over the stage, and most importantly, has a very close relationship with Spamton and Tenna. What if Spamton remembers Mike with fondness and regret because Mike gave him the Shadow Crystal as part of his grand scheme? The Shadow Crystal caused Spamton to see beyond this world and his own strengths, but at the cost of his sanity. Mike may have also convinced Tenna to follow the Knight's command, all in line with what Gaster's motivations could be. The relation to the Shadow Crystals could also explain the Freedom leitmotif. It's very out there, but could be possible, and could very well explain how the concept of Mike is meta to the series itself, and almost self-aware, like Gaster. Thank you very much for watching. If you're looking for more content on Deltarune, I have a video going into the deeper themes of it here. I hope to come out with more videos in the future, some covering Deltarune, some covering my other hyperfixations. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.